because that's where it all starts. So let's say you're at the gym and there are a few guys there and you decide you want to challenge one of them to a match. So you approach the guy and you say, hey, you want to play 1v1 for rankings? I play for a league called Rimpage and my matches count towards rankings. I just have to find players to challenge. And if that guy agrees to the match, then you schedule it. Every match has to be certified in order to count for ratings and rankings. And the first part of certifying your match is scheduling it. We need to know who, when, and where you're playing that match. There's a web page that you go to as a Rimpage athlete. That page automatically saves your Rimpage ID when you're logged in, and it automatically populates your information. So we see your first and last name and the city that you represent. All of that is already filled in. We just need you to tell us who and when and where you're playing. So let me show you what that form looks like. This is the page that you go to when you want to schedule the match. So as I said, your Rimpage ID automatically populates. You can see here I'm logged in into my test account, Patrick Johnson, and because I'm logged in, the page automatically recognizes my Rimpage ID right there, and it populates my information. So Patrick Johnson, and the city I play for is Dallas for this test account, and that's what we're looking at. Now this Rimpage ID identifies you, and it is attached to everything you do inside of Rimpage. The challenger is always the person who initiates the match, the one who says to another, hey, would you like to play a one-on-one match? The challenger will always be a Rimpage athlete. So when you're filling out this form, that's why it has your information populated already once you're logged in, because it is assumed that you are always the challenger. The contender could be a Rimpage athlete, might not be a Rimpage athlete. You are allowed to compete against non-Rimpage athletes. So you would just indicate that on the form here. Let's say I'm playing against a guy who is not a Rimpage athlete. I just check this box here. Contender is not a Rimpage athlete. And now all I have to do is put in his name. So let's say his name is Fish and last name Sandwich. And let's say he plays for the city of Arlington. Over here, I understand and agree to adhere to Rimpage match rules. There's a link you can go to right there that gives you the official Rimpage match rules, and then below it there's a link that says see Rimpage match procedures here, so you always have the information that you need, so you know what you're doing and you can move through this form with confidence. So I'm going to check that box. If my opponent is a Rimpage athlete, that box will appear for him as well so that he can check it. Now, when are we playing this match? Today is June 26th, so let's say we're going to play this match right here, right now. So June 26th, let's put that time at 3:38 p.m. and the location. We need the address where you're playing your match. Let's say we're playing this match at LA Fitness in Fort Worth. LA Fitness Fort Worth, and we're going to play at the one on Golden Triangle Boulevard, right there. We need that address. Okay, comments. Now, this part is important. We're going to have AI watching your matches, and the AI will pull the stats. But the AI needs to identify you, and since in Rimpage we don't require players to wear uniforms, you can wear anything you want. The AI needs to identify you. So let's say Fish Sandwich is wearing black shorts and a gray t-shirt, so I can say Fish, black shorts, gray t-shirt, and Patrick wearing red t-shirt and gray shorts. Now, that tells the AI what it needs to identify me and distinguish me from Fish. And if there's any other information here that would help the person processing this match to do that job better, then I can put that in here as well. So for example, I can say this is game one of 3. We've agreed we're going to play 3 matches, and so I'm just letting them know this is game 1, because I'm going to fill out this form for each match. Each match needs to have its own form, and you'll see why in just a moment. So if we're going to play 3 matches, then I need to schedule 3 matches. So this is game 1 of 3. Just so there's no confusion, I'll put this is game 1 of 3 on the next one. This is game 2 of 3 on the last one. This is game 3 of 3. You want to avoid confusion. If there's any confusion, then that means the person processing your match may not be able to do it, and that means you don't get credit for your match. So you want to make sure that everything is clear and everything is communicated so you get credit for your matches. The last thing you want to do is work hard, play a match, win the match, and then not get credit for it. So give us good information here. give us complete and accurate information here so you ensure that you get credit for your match. Now, after you give us that, we have a message there for you. Be inspired, play your best every match, because every match matters. Every match matters. They count towards your rankings, your ratings, and your stats. And those things count towards your supremacy score, and that supremacy score determines whether or not you get invited to special events, whether or not you're in the top 5, so you get the payouts in the Battle Royale, whether or not you get invited into the City Championship Tournament, and so on. So every match matters. The stakes are high. You want to be your best in every match. Also, when the fans watch you play, your brand is the promise that you're making to your fans. What can they expect whenever they see you play? They want to see superior skill. They want to see someone who's committed to winning. Like, they want you to play like this matters, whatever it is. They want to see a certain style of play. That's your brand promise. So you want to bring that every single time. You don't want there to be times when you show it and other times when you don't. Michael Jordan used to say he played hard because he never knew if there was someone out there in the stands who was watching him for the first time and maybe the last time. So this is the only impression they're ever going to get of him, and he wanted to make it a lasting impression. He felt that duty to the fans to bring his absolute best every single game because they paid that ticket price. So think of yourself the same way. That's a standard you can set for yourself, and you live up to that standard, and that becomes your brand. That's what separates you, differentiates you from all the other players who are competing. That's how you grow your fan base. So let's schedule this match. We click schedule match, and look what happens there. Match scheduled successfully, match ID. We're going to give it to you twice. Copy that match ID. You're going to need that. Every match inside of Rimpage has a match ID that identifies it, because let's say we have millions of players and they're all scheduling matches. We don't want to confuse your match with someone else's match, so every single match has a match ID. Now this match ID will appear on your profile page in the matches section under upcoming matches. So let's say you have friends and family who are following you on Rimpage and they want to know when you're playing again. They can go to your profile page and go to the matches section, and they'll see all of your upcoming matches there. So they can know when, who, when, and where you're playing. They can show up and support you. So I just copied this, and of course this form is accessible from your phone. You can copy and paste from your phone. So I just copied this match ID. Now I want to show you this. Watch what happens here. And this is something Rimpage sees, what I'm about to show you. It's not something players see, but I want you to know it exists. This is the matches database. Now this database holds all of the matches that Rimpage players are scheduling. And when you schedule a match, that match has a certain status. And the status for a match that has just been scheduled is scheduled. That's what it shows there. Once you report the match results afterwards, then the match status changes. And then once you give us the video for that match, it changes again to a certified match. And that's when you get your stats. But right now, it's just a scheduled match. And so what it's going to show, if I refresh, let me refresh, right there, number one, roll number one, scheduled match, June 26, 2025 at 12 a.m. Patrick is the challenger. Contender's first name is Fish. The match we're going to play at 3:38 p.m. Moving over, there's our match ID right there. The contender, Fish's city is Arlington. Patrick's city is Dallas. There's my Rimpage ID. First and last name of the two players. Right there is the address where we're playing this match. Over here, the results of the match. That will be filled in later. Points, rounds, all of this data will be filled in later. But right now, it's capturing this, my pre-match rating. So what is my player rating before the match? It's 1027. If my opponent were a Rimpage athlete, it would capture more information for him as well. But if he's a non-Rimpage athlete, the default rating of all non-Rimpage athletes is 1000. That's important to remember. The default rating for all non-Rimpage athletes is 1000. Even if you play 5 or 6 games and you win them all, their rating doesn't go down. It stays at 1000. If you're playing against a Rimpage athlete and you play 3 and 4 games, after each match, his rating is going to change. If he won, it's going to go up. If he lost, it's going to go down. But that's not the case with non-Rimpage athletes. Their default rating is 1,000 and it stays there no matter what. And so the form is capturing that when you schedule the match. You can see the challenger's pre-match record. What was my record before the match or at the time when the match was scheduled? So it's capturing all of this information in the record. Now, as the match goes through various statuses, this match record will be filled in with all of the relevant data. And of course, when it's all over, it'll appear on your profile page. But just wanted to let you know what's in this database and how this database works. Every single time you schedule a match, it's showing up in our database so we know who, when, and where you're playing. Do not play a match and then say, oh, I forgot to schedule it, and then go and try to schedule it. No. You must schedule that match before you play it, because there's an integrity issue here. As a Rimpage athlete, we are relying on you to act with integrity and to uphold our honor standard. We don't want you to play a match, lose it, and say, okay, I won't schedule that one. Then you play again and you win it and you say, okay, this is the one I'm going to schedule. No. You schedule that match. You tell us this match is happening, and then you play the match. And that way, whatever the outcome, win or lose, we know a match was played. So we're expecting that video from you. You want to be fair about this. You want to act with integrity. That keeps our league strong. That gives all of our results credibility. And so when you have a rating or a ranking above everyone else's, we know that's a real ranking. That's a real rating. It actually reflects that player's skill. He didn't manipulate the system to get that rating or that ranking. So honor, integrity are of paramount importance within Rimpage. People can't live up to that. They won't be in Rimpage long. Those players won't be with us long. So that match is scheduled. Now, let's say Fish and I play the match. And let's say I won the match because I'm great. So I won the match. Now, after the match, I'm going to go here to this Submit Match Results. It says, please ensure that the information you submit is complete and accurate. If your match video or other details do not meet Rimpage's standard, you may not receive credit for your match. So you want to make sure you're on top of this. Do not be sloppy with this scheduling your match and reporting your match results. You want to stay on top of this. You need attention to detail like a military soldier, because you don't want, as I said, to play a match, win that match, and not get credit for it. So stay on top of this. Be very neat. Pay attention to the details. Get this stuff in when you're supposed to. Don't play your match, win it, and then report it 3 days later. Immediately after that match, get that information into us. Go to the Submit Match Results page. Tell us who won, what the score was, how many rounds. Do your feedback. Give us the video. You've done your part. Now we'll process that match and we'll post the stats on your profile page. But this part we need you to do. So match ID, remember that. Remember that. And we happen to have that match ID right there. So I put in the match ID and look what happened. Automatically, because I'm logged in, these are pages you cannot access unless you're logged in. So you have to be a Rimpage athlete, an active Rimpage athlete, in order to access these pages. And once you're logged in, it's going to remember your details. It's going to remember your Rimpage ID. It's going to remember the details of your match ID. So all you have to do is paste in that match ID, and it puts in who was the contender, who was the challenger. Scores may pre-populate here. Change them so that they're accurate. So let's say I really embarrassed this guy. So I got a supreme victory. Ooh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Okay, so I scored 12, and my opponent scored 0. The form is designed to recognize whether or not the Rimpage athlete won. If both players are Rimpage athletes, then it's going to register that. But if only one of them is a Rimpage athlete and the Rimpage athlete won, this box is going to appear, because there are certain types of victories that you get extra credit for. If you're not a Rimpage athlete and you won, then this box will not appear, because we don't give those bonuses to non-Rimpage athletes. So in this case, where one player is a Rimpage athlete and the other is not a Rimpage athlete, the form is waiting to see who won. Did the Rimpage athlete win? And if he did, it's going to give us this box. Now watch this. If I change the score and I say I lost the match, so I scored 10 points, but the non-Rimpage athlete won. He scored 12. Box disappears. See that? It's only going to capture that and give us that option if the Rimpage athlete won. And again, if both athletes are Rimpage athletes, then that box is going to show up either way. But let's say I really dusted this guy. So I held him scoreless. 12-0. And let's say it took me 5 rounds to do it. So I beat this guy in 5 rounds. So there we go. Now, this box is saying, congratulations on your win. Was it a supreme victory? If yes, what kind? So there are 5 different types of supreme victories. These are victories in which it's displayed exceptional basketball skill. And so we want to give you an extra bonus for that. We're going to count these, and you can get payouts and cash prizes for these supreme victories. So let's see what types of supreme victories there are. The first one is a knockout. It's a KO. So you check this box, check KO if you won in 3 rounds. How do you win a Rimpage match in 3 rounds? Remember, Rimpage matches are played to 12. So how do you score 12 points in 3 rounds? Each round you scored 4 points. That's a 4-pointer. So if you hit 3 4-pointers in 3 rounds, that's a KO. You knock that guy out. You won that match in 3 rounds with 3 4-pointers. Did that happen in this match? No, I won 12-0, but I won in 5 rounds. So this doesn't qualify as a KO. Blank slate, donut. Check blank slate, donut, if you held your opponent to 0 points. Did I do that? Absolutely I did. So this qualifies as a supreme victory. So I'm going to check this box. Let's see if I qualify for any more. Stolen glory. Check stolen glory if your opponent had 9 or more points while you had 5 or less points, but you still won. So this is a comeback victory. So he got to 9 points before you got to 5, and somehow you still came back and won. That's called stolen glory. That's a bonus. That's a supreme victory. But in this case, no, doesn't qualify because he didn't get close to 9 points. He got dusted. So 12-0, not stolen glory. Shot caller. Check shot caller if you correctly predicted your victory to the shot and the round. So remember, I was scheduling the match. If I had predicted victory here when I'm scheduling the match and I put in this box, I predict I'm going to win this match in 5 rounds, and the game-winning shot is going to be a 2-pointer from the wing. So I'm predicting the victory. I'm predicting the round in which I'm going to win it, and I'm predicting the shot that I'm going to use to win it. That's called shot caller. And if I do that, and then I make that prediction, and then I actually fulfill the prediction, that's called shot caller. And we give you a bonus for that as well. Flawless finish. This was not a shot caller because I didn't predict my victory when I scheduled the match. You can also predict your victory in the video. So let's say I didn't predict it when I scheduled the match, but when I press record to start recording the match, I stand in front of that camera and I say to the camera, I'm going to win this match in 5 rounds. And the game-winning shot is going to be a 2-pointer, or the game-winning shot is going to be a dunk. Whatever. You call the round, you call the match on video, that's a shot caller. Okay, flawless finish. As you might guess, you check flawless finish if you never missed a single shot. Perfection. You made every shot you attempted and you won the match. That's a flawless finish. You get credit for that. So in this case, the only one I qualify for is a blank slate here. So that's a supreme victory. Now, please tell us about your opponent. Rate your opponent's sportsmanship. 1 is terrible, 5 is great. Fish took this loss pretty good, so I'm going to give him a 4. Now, he showed up on time for his match, and this, if you're playing on the spot, like you challenge a guy right there on the spot and you just schedule it and start playing, then that's not going to be a factor. But let's say we scheduled this for 2 or 3 days out, and 2 or 3 days later, it's time for the match. You show up at the date and time and location, and your opponent hasn't shown up. And you wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. This guy still hasn't shown up. We actually have a forfeit rule where you can force a forfeit in that case, but that also is going to affect his sportsmanship. Or let's say he showed up drunk. Or let's say he was extra rough when he played. Or let's say he had a foul mouth when he played. Or let's say he called too many fouls. All of these things affect sportsmanship, and you can rate your opponent's sportsmanship. Now, this is really important because we know not everyone is a good fit for this league. And so if players are not a good fit for this league, their sportsmanship scores are going to show that. And then we're going to give them an opportunity to correct that. And if they don't, then they just won't be a part of the league anymore. So this part is a part that is important for you all to help us to get those guys who don't belong in this league out. Report them. Report them through their sportsmanship scores. By the way, everything you say about your opponent is going to show on his profile page. So if you give him a 1 star, and of course this is Rimpage athletes. Non-Rimpage athletes don't have this information recorded on a profile page because they don't have a Rimpage profile. You can still rate them because it'll show up, it'll stay in our database, but it won't show on their profile pages because they don't have one. But everything you say about a Rimpage athlete will show up on his profile page. So he'll see how many stars you rated his sportsmanship for that match. And then here, what is your own personal opinion about his skill level? Let's say, so I'll give Fish a 4 stars. And for his skill level, let's say he was a 60, 58. Let's say he was a 60. I'll give him a 60. That's my own opinion about his skill level. And what would you like to say about your opponent? There we give you the disclaimer again. Your comments may be shared publicly. So let's say Fish was cool. We'll just say that about him. And now submit match results. Now remember when I told you here that the status was scheduled. Now watch this. When I submit match results, right there, match results submitted successfully. Watch what happens to the status now when I refresh the page. Right there, completed. So now it's not scheduled anymore. The status is completed. So that lets Rimpage know this person played his match and reported the match results. But it's not a certified match, and you only get credit for certified matches. This is a completed match. How do we certify the match? See this arrow here? Keep going. Upload the match video. If it's not on video, it never happened. Every Rimpage match must be video recorded in its entirety, and you need to do a quality job of that. We need to see the beginning and the end of every shot. Please don't put that camera on the floor because we can't tell where you are on the floor if the camera's on the floor. In other words, are you in front of the 2-point line or behind it? Was your toe on the line when you took that shot? We can't tell. Were you inside of a shot box or outside? We can't tell if the camera's on the floor. The angle will not allow us to determine that. Please place your camera at the recommended spot so you can capture all of the action. If you have someone filming for you, please make sure they understand how important this is. Tell them you're playing for a ranking here, so it's important that they capture all the footage. We've had guys filming, maybe a buddy filming his friend playing, and the guy got distracted and was filming the sky while the match was happening. And we're looking at the sky trying to see what's going on, and we missed the shot. And if we can't tell what happened, you can't get credit for it. If it's not on video, it never happened. So if you have a buddy filming for you, please make sure that guy can do a good job. Make sure he understands how important this is. You're playing for rankings, you're playing for ratings. Not only that, fans will be watching this video, and you want to give your fans a good viewing experience so they'll want to watch more of your videos. Keep that in mind. This is like YouTuber tips. If you have a YouTube channel, you want to give your viewers a great experience so they'll come back to your channel. If you're a Rimpage athlete, you want to give your viewers a great experience so they'll keep coming back and watching your matches. So not only do you want to play well, but you want to make sure it's captured on video and the camera's not shaking and it's not all over the place. Give your fans a good viewing experience. And then give us that video so we can give you credit for the match. So we have 2 ways you can give us the video. One is you can click this button. It'll take you to a form where you upload the match video. Straight from your phone. Upload it to our Google Drive. We'll take it out of there. We'll watch it, score it, give you credit for it. That's one way. Upload it to our Google Drive by clicking this button. The other way is you can upload it to your own Google Drive and then share it with us. There's a link, a share link. Create that share link and paste it here. And once we get it, we can download that video and we can watch it. The preferred way is for you to upload it to our Google Drive. But sometimes guys have problems managing these files. So we give you a couple of ways of doing this. Here's a tip. Not just a tip, it's a rule. It's a commandment. One match per video. If you play 2, 3, 4 matches, put each match on its own video. Again, remember I said you want to stay on top of this stuff because you want to make sure you get credit for all of your matches. And these are some reasons guys won't get credit for their matches. One match per video. After the match, stop the video. If you're going to play again, start a new video. If you play 2 and 3 matches, there need to be 2 and 3 separate videos. The other one, pro tip here, rename the video file with the match ID. Remember I said you want to make it easy for the person processing your video to do a great job because you don't want any issues. You want to make sure you get credit because imagine we're going to be getting thousands, maybe millions of these match videos coming in. You don't want yours to get lost. So name your match video with the match ID. And that way we know right there. It's so simple. We know that this video goes with this match. Pro tip there. On the form, when you upload your match video, it actually says that too. There's a box you can check. Did you rename your video? And include the match ID in your video. You stay on top of all this stuff, you'll never have a problem getting credit for your matches. You don't want there to be any problems processing your video. We've had mobile phones and we've had computers and we've had cloud storage for a long time now. Everyone should be savvy using this stuff. If not, this is something you want to get on top of because this is your own Rimpage career and you don't want to be sloppy with your files and you don't want to not know how to rename a video file or not know how to upload it. All of these things, this is something you'll need to learn because this is a huge part of your participation in Rimpage. Remember what I said, if it's not on video, it didn't happen. Can you imagine playing all of your matches and not getting credit for any one of them? That's going to be extremely frustrating. So learn file management on your mobile phone, on your computer, with Android, with iPhone. Learn how these things work. Learn how to rename files. Learn how Google Drive works, how to upload, things like that. It's a huge part of your participation in Rimpage. So here we go. So we upload the video. I uploaded that video, my match video, to my own Google Drive, and I'm going to share it here. So I just put the link there and watch what happens here. When I click, I upload it to my Google Drive. I get the success message there. Player video link successful, successfully updated. When you click these buttons, guys, look for the success message. Make sure you see that. Because if you don't, even though you click that button, something went wrong and we don't have that video, you're not going to get credit. 2 and 3 days later, you're going to check your profile and say, I still don't see any change in my stats. I uploaded the video. Well, you thought you uploaded the video. Always check for these success messages to make sure it actually went through. You know how technology is. Things happen. So this is your part. Make sure you do your part so we can do our part. If everyone does their part, everything's fine. So we have the success message there. Now watch what happens to the match record in our system. So here's the match. The status is completed. When I refresh and look at the status now, page loading. Certified. Now you can get credit for it because you've done your part. You scheduled the match. You played the match. You submitted match results. You gave us the video. That's your part. That's your part. That's a certified match now. Now it's our responsibility to process that match and update your profile so you get your rankings and your ratings and your stats updated. That's it. That's it. That's how you certify a Rimpage match. Not hard. Not hard. You can do this fairly quickly, but it is important. It is crucially important. Like, imagine you're in the Battle Royale and you know the top 5 ranked players get paid. You're in 6th place and you're contending to get into that 5th place and you're like 1 win away. So you play this match, you win this match, and you think that's enough to put you in 5th place, but something goes wrong with this process of certifying your video. You don't get credit for that win. You don't get paid. That's how critical this can be. Or let's say we're at the end of the season and you're 1 win away from getting into the city championship tournament and something goes wrong with your video, or some part of this process was not handled correctly, and we can't process your video, and you don't get credit for that win, you missed the city championship over a technicality. So really build some good habits around this. Stay on top of this. Do these things right. Follow these procedures correctly. Make checklists if you have to. Make yourself a checklist if you have to. Just to make sure you get this right. You don't want any problems with processing your videos and getting credit for the matches you want. So that match is now certified. I do want to show you the checklist for your matches. And each Rimpage athlete gets this because we want to do everything we can to help you get credit for your matches. So we created a match checklist. Let's look at some of that right now. Okay, the number one activity of Rimpage athletes is hunting. That is finding and challenging and beating the other players in your city. And just like lions can't hunt without their claws and their teeth, Rimpage athletes can't hunt without their camera and their tripod. You need to capture your hunt on video in order to get credit for it. So that's what that's saying in its own clever way there. Next, here's our checklist. Look at the light in that photo. So this is a screenshot from an actual match. Do you see how the players are dark? They're in shadow because the light source is in front of the camera. The camera is actually pointing at the light source. You never want to film this way unless you want to film shadows. The light source should be shining on the athletes, and it should be behind the camera, not where the camera is pointing at it. It's like, imagine pointing your camera at the sun. What do you think you're going to capture? Everything in front of that sun is going to be dark and in shadow. So keep these things in mind. You want great video quality because you want fans to enjoy watching your videos. This is all a part of your brand. So what this person should have done was taken that camera to the other side of the court where you see that guy walking on the far end. The camera should have been placed somewhere over there, so the light source is the light coming through that window is in back of the camera, shining on the players, and then I guarantee you those players will be shown in full color as opposed to being shown in silhouette there. Whenever you point your camera at a light source, the people are dark like shadows. Okay, match checklist. Ensure each box is checked before submitting your video. Again, this may seem like a lot, but once you've done this 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, this becomes second nature. It's just a habit. It'll be harder to not do this than it will be to do it because you're used to doing it so much. So number one, Rimpage was notified of the opponent, the date, time, and location before the match was played. You need to tell us who, when, and where you're playing before you play that match. That's an integrity issue right there. Next, shoot the video in landscape orientation. You can see the two illustrations. Do not shoot that video in portrait. This goes back to fan experience, the fan viewing experience. We would much rather watch a match in landscape mode than in portrait mode. It's going to be harder to capture the action. Imagine trying to track a ball flying in the air towards the basket. You're moving that camera a lot, and that can be jarring for your viewer to be snatched from side to side. It's much more pleasing to view a match when it's filmed in landscape. So if you want credit for your match, rotate that camera, film it in landscape. Number 3, the entire match was captured on video. If someone is running off into the corner of the court and they take a shot and they hit it and it's not on film because you're not filming that part, we don't know if that was a 2-pointer or a 1-pointer. We don't know when we're watching that video. And the only thing you can get credit for is what we can see on video. So make sure the entire match, maybe you're filming the match and your phone runs out of storage or your battery dies and you played all the way up to 11 and we missed game point because the phone shut off because the battery died. Guess what? I'm sorry, you're not getting credit for that match. We can't see it. We can't see the match point being scored. So make sure your battery is charged. Make sure your phone storage is not an issue. You have enough storage for the file, so you get credit for that match. Video is good quality. Here's a simple one. Because we're at the gym and we're sweating and we're handling our phone, sometimes that sweat can get on the camera lens, and when it dries, it's a dry smudge on your camera lens, and now your footage is foggy. So before you film, maybe just take a tissue, Kleenex, a towel, just wipe your camera lens down so it's free of any smudges and the image is captured clearly. So the quality of that video is as good as it can be. Clear, steady. That's why we recommend tripods. Steady. Hold that camera steady. The light source is behind the camera. The video is recorded from the corners of half court. You see the illustration here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Can I zoom in? I absolutely can zoom in. I'm going to zoom in. Right here. That's an illustration of the court. Do you see the green circles with the C? C is for camera. We're showing you where to place your camera. This is important, guys. Please don't put that camera under the basket and then get upset when you don't get credit for your match. If you put the camera under the basket, we can't see the wings and the deep wings, the baseline. We can't see that stuff. It's not on camera. So place your camera at the corner of half court. That gives us the widest viewing angle, so we can ensure that everything that happens during that match is captured on video. Number 5, the video is uploaded to Google Drive. If we don't have the video, you can't get credit. File management. Basic file management. You need to learn it. You will not survive in Rimpage without basic file management knowledge. You need to know how to move files from one folder to the other, from one device to the other. You need to know how to name and rename files, upload files, download files. Basic file management knowledge is something that is crucial. You will not survive in Rimpage without it. Please learn it. Everyone should know it by now, because we're handling these phones all day, every day. We should know this. So if you don't, please learn it. Number 6, the score is accurate. Sometimes when you're playing, you're in the heat of the moment and you lose track of the score. Have some way of tracking the score and the rounds. Don't forget about the rounds. Rimpage matches are played to 25 rounds. If you lose track of the rounds and you end up playing to 30 rounds, guess what? When I review that video, I'm stopping at 25. Whatever the score was at 25 rounds, that's the final score for that match. And you can say, but I won that match. I stopped at 25. Rimpage matches are played to 25 rounds. Keep track of the rounds, so you get credit for your win. So have some device, a piece of paper and a pen. Put a stroke on the page so you keep track of your rounds and the score. That information needs to be accurate. Number 7, invite your non-Rimpage opponent to join Rimpage. You get $20 for each referral. Easy money. Don't forget about this. You're playing a non-Rimpage athlete, just tell them join Rimpage. If they join and they stay with us 60 days, you're getting $20. So that's money in your bank account. And number 8, communicate with the camera. Explain anything that may confuse the person who will be reviewing your match footage. So let's say you and your opponent have some sort of disagreement over the score or a foul call or whatever. Come over to the camera and discuss it, so when I'm reviewing that match video, I know what's going on. But don't have some discussion away from the camera and the two of you agree and the two of you know what's going on, but when I'm watching that match video, I don't know what's going on. And so the score at the end of the video is something like 11-7. And you say, no, but I won. I counted 11-7. Maybe you and your opponent agreed on something different. Maybe you thought it was a 2-pointer and the two of you said it's a 2-pointer. When I look at it, it looks like a 1-pointer. The two of you let it go and you played to what you thought was 12, but to me watching the video, it's 11. Stuff like that. Make sure everything is clear and understandable for the person who's watching that video to give you your rankings and ratings and stats. So the two of you come over to the camera, have that discussion where the person reviewing your match can hear it, agree, and then move on, and now it's all documented. That's the point of the videos. These videos serve numerous purposes. One purpose of the match video is documentation. What happened during that match? We want that information. and it needs to be clear and understandable, no confusion, so there are no issues, and you get credit for your win. Another good habit, if you score a 4-pointer, hold up 4 fingers to the camera. That way we know you think that was a 4-pointer and your opponent agreed that was a 4-pointer. Maybe to us watching the video, we couldn't tell. Maybe it looked like you were not inside the box or not touching the box, but you thought it was a 4-pointer. We know that because you held up 4 fingers, indicating you believe you just scored a 4-pointer. If you score a 2-pointer, hold up 2 fingers. If you score a 3-pointer, hold up 3 fingers to the camera. Communicate with the camera so we who are watching and reviewing that video are always in the know. We know what's going on. If there was a foul, communicate something, hand sign or something, communicate that to the camera. He fouled me, that's why I have the ball again. Otherwise it looks like you're getting 2 possessions before your opponent got 1, and we don't know why. Maybe it didn't look like a foul to us. We can't tell watching the video. Communicate those things. Come to the camera, have that discussion, communicate it, agree, move on. Everything is clear. Schedule it, record it, send it in. That's the process for certifying your matches. Certified match is a match that was scheduled before it was played, it was video recorded, and that video is in Rimpage's possession. That's a certified match. That's the video checklist. This is another example of lighting. So here you can see the difference. When that door is behind me and the camera's pointing at it, look how my image looks. That's what happens when you point your camera at a light source. Don't point your camera at a light source. Put that light source behind your camera and look how the green checkmark image, look how much better, how much clearer, how much higher quality that image is. It's the same room. I'm standing in the same space. The difference is the light source is behind the camera in the left image versus being in front of the camera. So other tips, wipe your camera lens, choose a good background, always send in high resolution, note what is printed on your shirt, like pay attention to that stuff. If you're wearing a shirt that has something inappropriate printed on it, that's going to be there forever. Everyone who watches that video until the end of time is going to see that. So bear that stuff in mind, what you're wearing, what's printed on your shirt. Make sure it's relevant and something relevant and in good taste. If you're filming, use a tripod, film it in landscape orientation, ensure the audio is on, turn the volume up, that's another one. Check that. Check these things before you turn on that camera, before you press record. Share your thoughts before and after the match. Did you know you could do that? Stand in front of the camera and have a little interview, have a little session with us. My name is this. I'm about to play this match against Fish Sandwich. I saw him over here and he seemed like he was pretty good, and I said I'm going to challenge him. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. I predict I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to win this match in 3 rounds with 3 4-pointers. I'm going to do that. And now if you do it, if you actually do it, you get credit for a supreme victory. And then after your match, come over to the camera again. The match is over. I told you I was going to knock him out, and I knocked him out. Just give us a little post-game interview there. Tell us how you feel about how you played. Tell us about your opponent. You can do that stuff in the match video. Think about fan experience. Do we like to see our favorite players be interviewed after they play well in a match, in a game? Absolutely we do. We appreciate that as fans. So give your fans that. Good quality always in everything we do. This is a match rules quick sheet. We played a 12 by 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Shot boxes. Look at those shot boxes. You can use blue painter's tape to put the shot boxes on the court. Love that, because when you're done, you can take that off the court. Doesn't leave any markings, and it's easy to put down and it's easy to take up when you're finished, to remove. So on this court, this is an LA Fitness in Irving, Texas, where we were playing, and I put the shot boxes down with blue painter's tape. Note here, you have a 3-point shot box on either side of the court on the 2 wings, and the 4-point shot box is in front of the half-court line. And I give you the dimensions. Shot boxes are 52 inches by 52 inches. The 3-point shot boxes are 2 feet behind the 2-point line. So you know where to put them. A lot of courts have this white line. A lot of courts have this line drawn across. That can be the bottom of your 3-point shot box. So that's a great way to place it and just measure 52 inches by 52 inches. There are certain things you'll want to keep on hand with you as a Rimpage athlete. Your camera, a measuring tape, maybe some blue painter's tape for indoor courts, and maybe some chalk for outdoor courts, so you can just quickly draw the shot boxes in when you play. You can also, please hear me, please understand this. You can also agree with your opponent to play without shot boxes and just play by ones and twos. You don't have to play with shot boxes. It would be great if you do, because if you're trying to get into a 1,000-point club, it's easier to get there when you're playing by fours, threes, and twos than it is just by ones and twos. Or if the four-pointer is part of your game strategy, you definitely want shot boxes on the court. So use them. But also understand that you and your opponent can agree to play without shot boxes, and that might be something you want to communicate to the camera. So come over to the camera before the match starts and say, we've agreed to not play with shot boxes. And now the person reviewing that match will understand you're not going to play with shot boxes. But travel with a measuring tape, blue painter's tape for indoor courts, chalk for outdoor courts, and your tripod. If you're a Rimpage athlete, these are essentials for documentation and for making sure that court is marked so you get credit for your 3-pointers and 4-pointers. And there we have the measurements for you. First player to score 12 points is the winner, not win by 2. First to 12 is the winner. Change possessions after each made basket. This is not make it, take it in Rimpage. That's a habit a lot of guys have to break. Please break it. This is not make it, take it. We play to 25 rounds or 25 possessions per player. So I get the ball, I take my shot, you get the ball, you take your shot, that's round 1. I get the ball back, I take my shot, you take your shot, that's round 2. We play to 25 rounds. If neither player has reached 12 points by round 25, then the player with the highest score wins. If we're tied, let's say we're tied at 9, who got to 9 first? That's the winner. Whoever got there first is the winner. There is no such thing as a match ending with a tie. There is always a winner. You are allowed a maximum of 2 shot attempts per possession. So that means 1 offensive rebound. Let's say you take a 4-pointer, you miss it, you can get that rebound and take another shot. And guess what? If you make it, you're still in contention for a knockout. In other words, it's possible to, let's say you get 2 shots per possession, it's possible to get a knockout with 6 shots. In round 1, you took a 4-pointer, missed it, got the rebound, took another 4-pointer, made it. That's 2 shots. Round 2, exact same thing happened. You took a 4-pointer, missed it, got the rebound, took another 4-pointer, made it. That's 4 shots, but 2 rounds. Third round, exact same thing happens. You take a 4-pointer, you miss it, you get the rebound, take another 4-pointer, you make it. You've shot 6 shots in 3 rounds. That's still a knockout. Because a knockout is 12 points in 3 rounds. So you can take a maximum of 2 shots per round, but you have to get that offensive rebound. Let's say you shoot the shot, you miss it, you get the rebound, you shoot the shot, you miss it. No more rebounds. Change of possession. Make it or miss it. Change of possession. If the ball goes out of bounds, possession changes, regardless of who touched it last. Doesn't matter who touched it last. The possession is over. When that ball goes out of bounds, the possession is over. If your opponent knocks the ball loose and you chase it down and you get it back, you can still play. It's still live. But if it goes out of bounds, it doesn't matter who touched it last. The possession is over. Change of possession. Call your own fouls. Call your own fouls. No one can call a foul for you. Let's say I'm guarding you. You beat me to the basket. I don't want you to get the layup, so I foul you. If you don't call it, I have to take the result of the play. I can't say, well, I stopped playing defense because I fouled you. You were supposed to call the foul. No, he's not supposed to call the foul. If your opponent chooses not to call the foul, you have to keep playing. You cannot call fouls for your opponent. You can foul as a strategy, and there are limits on that because we want you to be winning with skill, not with gimmicks, and not with anything other than skill. So you can foul as a strategy, but if your opponent doesn't call it, you have to take the result of the play. Call your own fouls. You get 1 free strategic intentional foul. After that, there's a penalty, and 1 free throw plus possession is awarded to your opponent. So it doesn't serve. It doesn't serve you. We want you winning your matches with skill, not with gamesmanship and stuff like that. Or certainly not with playing dirty. No backing down inside the key. If you back your defender down, you must take the shot from outside the key. In Rimpage, you may not back your opponent all the way down under the basket and then just turn and drop the ball in. This is for the larger players, taller, bigger players competing against smaller, skinny players. You can back them down, but you have to take that shot outside the key. Again, we want you to win with skill, not relying on your size. Develop your game. All matches must be pre-scheduled and must be video recorded so every shot and result is captured. You may challenge any player, male or female, ages 15 and up. Did you hear that? You can play your grandmother if you want to. You can do that in Rimpage. But know this. On your Rimpage profile page, there's a stat that says average opponent rating. So the better your opponent is, the higher his rating is going to be. If you're fishing around the bottom all the time, you're always playing these guys whose ratings are below 1,000, then everyone who comes to your profile page will see that. They'll see that, yes, you've won 100 matches, but 80 of your opponents are all have ratings below 800. What's going on? You're picking on easy competition. Everybody can see that there. But if you're always playing against guys whose rating is where yours is or higher, and you still have a winning record, that's more admirable. You get more respect for that. So in Rimpage, think about it like this. Your rating is like a brick wall that you have to build. And your job is to build your wall taller than everyone else's brick wall. Where do you get the bricks from? You take them from your opponents. You take their bricks, so you tear their wall down, and you use their bricks to build your wall. Now, if you play against an opponent whose rating is lower than yours, you only get a few bricks for that victory. If you play against an opponent whose rating is higher than yours, you get a lot of bricks for that victory. So you can try to build your wall taking 2 and 3 bricks from these easy opponents over here all the time, but you're going to have a much harder time building that wall. Also, if one of those easy guys gets lucky and beats you, your whole thing comes crumbling down because you lose more bricks when an easier opponent, an opponent you should have beaten, actually beats you. So you're taking a huge risk there playing against easy competition in terms of the bricks you lose, the ratings points you lose to that player. Because it's like David beating Goliath. If David beat up on a 3-year-old, we wouldn't even know about that in history. But the reason we tell that story is because it's an extraordinary accomplishment for this little boy to beat this giant. So in terms of respect, David got a lot of bricks for that victory in the story of David and Goliath. Same thing with you. If you go around as a giant slayer, you're always beating opponents whose ratings are higher than yours, you're getting a lot of bricks for those victories. You're tearing down their wall and using their bricks to build your wall, and that's ideal in Rimpage. Last thing, compete with honor. It's better to lose a match and keep your honor than to win a match in a dishonorable way. Guys, please hear me. Honor is of supreme importance in Rimpage. You won't be in this league if you can't compete with honor. If you can't conduct yourself with honor, if you're trying to find various ways to get a result without earning it, you won't be in this league long. I promise you, you won't be in this league long. Honor is of paramount importance here. So if you haven't read our honor code, please read it. There's a deep philosophy behind it all. All right, the number one most important thing when you're hunting is to win the match. The second most important thing is to get credit for it. Make sure you scheduled it before you played it. Make sure you recorded it in its entirety. Make sure you named it with the match ID. Make sure we have that match video. And that's it. That's it. I think we've covered a lot of ground here. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. All the rewards you could want from basketball come from winning. So go out there and win. That's the freedom that you have with Rimpage. All right, so thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. You guys take care.